All right, everybody, what's going on, man? As y'all can see, man, we got a full house up in here tonight, man. Y'all know everybody here. We ain't got to waste a whole lot of time with intros, but I do want to intro these guys, man. We got at the bottom, well, I don't know how the screen laid out, but at the bottom right of my screen, man, we got Mr. GSPN, Mr. Alcorn State, Mr. Big Bad Braves, Mr. I Got Something to Say. I don't know, man. You need to trademark all them because people be trying to take your stuff, man. And then we got on the bottom left, man, we got the Blue Bloods itself, Mr. Zach, man. What's going on with you?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, you know how it is, man. It's all good. And of course, I can't forget about my co-host, the Big Soldier up in here, man. You know how I go. What's up, Big Soldier?
What's happening? It's your boy Heisman Jamie G. That's one I'm finna go by, right? Heisman Jamie G. What's happening?
All
What's
right,
up?
hey,
What's up, man?
Heisman winning the house. So, man, like I say, man, I wanted to put together a little something with these guys, man, because you know when it comes to talking football in general, SWAC football, you got to go with the guys who make the motion. So we're gonna kind of just talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that spring football and all of that. So I'm gonna start off throwing this out to everybody, man. Y'all can chime in when you want. What y'all thoughts on spring practices overall? You know what any team made some moves or anybody at a spring game that kind of stood out to you or anything. Let's just kind of talk spring football first.
Go ahead, G. Can y'all hear G?
G, I think you muted,
No,
bro.
hey, we can't hear you.
Oh, there you go. There. My bad. Yeah, I say
Right.
it was really kind of hard because most people didn't broadcast a spring game this year, so it's kind of hard to see. So I think I watched FAMU. They look decent. And, I watched A&M too, and then of course I went to see the Braves. So I think everybody getting it together. A lot of people got a lot of missing holes because of the portal. A lot of people got a lot of missing holes. So it's gonna be interesting to see what everybody do to fill them holes.
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway, right?
Yeah, how about you, Blue?
Yeah, I think it's the portal, man, like that has kind of created like this big question mark, kind of like what G was into. Looking at everyone, they got holes, but also too, if you have a breakout player in spring, are they still there as of midnight tonight? And so I think it's going to be a huge challenge on the coaching staffs across the conference on who can get their team to gel, man, because you're going to have new pieces, man. We saw players sign with the program in December, and they're committed to another program in April already. I mean, so I think the turnover is going to challenge a lot of coaches, man. But I think there's plenty of storylines, man. I think all of you guys can speak to it. The parity in the conference is going to be at an all-time high, man, especially in that West. And even I think we got more parity in the East than we've had in the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's wide open, bro. I mean, wide open.
Yeah, I agree. Because I've been trying to start my way too early auto finish. I have no idea who to put well, man. Like I feel like on either side you can put 2 or 3 teams in the top spot. Like I feel like in the West you got 3 or 4 teams who can finish first. I think probably Pine Bluff and Valley the only 2 spots that I can say. But then again, you never know with them teams. But I wanted to piggyback on one thing that G said, man. It the lack of whether it was by design or not. The lack of coverage of spring games, it made it kind of tough to talk about anything going on in the spring because you couldn't get any info from anywhere unless you just was plugged in somewhere. I would love to see that improve.
I think a lot of it has to do with some of the coaches are worried about other people seeing the players. You know what I'm saying? People watching.
That's true.
This was 2 years ago when we played Tulane the first game. We get to Tulane. And I'm standing on the sideline. Tulane knew all our signals. That they had a player watching our signals and then talking to the coach, watching the signals and talking to the coach, and it was all in our spring game. And all our signals on the spring game video. So,
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that. And if you've been to Southern during any practice, it's wide open, man. You can anybody can come up and see anything. So I know how it is to be aware of that kind of stuff, but. I think that that's one of them things that I kind of always gonna not so much having the games on TV or internet or whatever, but just the information because I like to kind of figure out what's going on, and sometimes you gotta do a little extra legwork, and sometimes it's kind of frustrating, but I get why coaches do it. Let me go to my co-host real quick, man. How you feel about JSU spring game?
Muted.
He muted just like me, Jamie G.
Yeah,
You,
well,
mute, you muted. You muted, bro.
In my opinion, I mean the spring game was a spring game. It's a lot of question marks still with JSU, and not just JSU, everybody in the conference. That's the way I feel. Man, it's wide open. It's really hard to predict who could be coming out of the East or the West this early, because even it's still kids jumping in the portal as we speak. And I saw somebody from JSU offensive lineman just hit the portal. So I mean, man, it's gonna be a whole everybody gonna have a brand new team.
Yeah, that's why I think the team who kind of brought back the most players and got the most continuity gonna have a little head start on it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was big on mid-year signing day. The ones that brought a lot in during the mid-year and they got a chance to take them through the spring. Any kind of continuity gonna help anybody right now.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a good point, G. I wanted to let me throw this at y'all. I know on the FBS level, that mid-year signing period is huge. Most teams now they fill their spots then, and they go after guys that they might not have a chance at for the regular signing period. Do y'all think that should be more of a focus for teams on our level?
I think it's a double-edged sword, because here's what could happen too. And we saw this with some teams is you get a big early signing class and you could keep all of them. Like Alcorn didn't have a lot of transfers, but you could also have a big signing class and those guys have a big spring or not like where they are on the depth chart. And then you have a mass exodus in the spring portal.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's kind of fit, but I'm kind of with G on this because I like what Alcorn did. At the end of the day, signing days before the next transfer portal window anyway, just bring in as many guys as you can, because the longer they're on campus, the better probability they are to hang around because they have deeper relationships. But they kind of understand where they fall in the hierarchy in the locker room. And on top of that, it gives you more time to recruit them and sell them on what their future could be with the program. Bringing kids in at the end of February or in February really doesn't give you enough time. They go right into spring practices. And if they don't like where they are, they don't like how your coaches treat them or coach them up, they're going to hit the portal at the end of the day. So I think it needs to be a massive shift. I think North Carolina Central, the year after they won the Celebration Bowl, they signed 4 kids in the early signing period. I don't think that can happen anymore with the amount of roster turnover that we're getting throughout spring football now.
And I think it gives you more time to evaluate the talent too. Sometimes we brought in some kids that we thought would be better than what they got when we got to campus. So now we at the end of we got to shoe up this spot because what we brought in is not looking like we thought it might look. So it give us more time to say, okay, we need more interior defensive linemen, or okay, we need more corners or whatever. When we thought we had this spot plugged, but we looking like, we might need a little more help. So it give you more time to bring more talent in too, kind of evaluate what you got.
Yeah, I feel the same. That's kind of why I feel like I feel, because I think that giving you the option of bringing in guys and like you said, using that next spot, the next window to show up holes, or even maybe show somebody the dope that that is not panning out. It gives you an extra avenue to fill roster spots. I don't think you're scrambling as much as some teams try to do. So I think I'm not saying I think we need to 100%, fill out your class in December, but I think we need to get a better handle on how it's going, and then use February and the spring window to kind of fill in holes. But like Lou say, now recruiting is so different, man. It's like the tactics that you used 2 years ago don't work anymore because guys can come and go in the same spring. It's crazy.
What I think teams really need to do, and this isn't really like a portal tactic per se, or like a recruiting tactic. What they need to start doing is start moving their spring games up.
Yes.
because the earlier you can get
Yeah.
your spring practices and spring game wrapped up, the quicker you can focus on the next steps. Because what's happening to a lot of teams are they're having their spring game April 26th or 21st, and there's kids that have signed places. Like, you missed a whole, group of talent that was in the portal, because if there's a good kid in the portal you want, odds are he's not waiting for your spring game to end at the end of the day, because you can tell him, hey, we expect this position to be open or this player to leave. You can't guarantee that until the player actually enters the portal, and a lot of guys aren't going to transfer in the middle of spring practices. So Chattanooga's kind of been the FCS team that I've seen do it the most. Past 2 years, they've started spring in like mid or early February. Like,
Dang.
they'll do signing day, and
Yeah,
then spring practice starts on like February 10th. And their
Jesus, I
spring's
ain't know you
over
go
by
that
the end
early.
of March. So and think about it, it kind of gives them an advantage.
Yep.
Because that coaching
Yeah.
staff's done. Those players are going to hit the portal when it opens, and they're going to have the entire period to recruit. So if you can start lining your spring game up with the start of that transfer portal, you really, really give yourself an advantage on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, like you say, that's a good point, because that gives you the option to see what you have. You can take that time period to see what you got, and if you need to fill holes, or somebody come in the portal who unexpected, you can make that move and not be so worried about running your practices at that time. So I think we're gonna still see some shuffling on how these tactics work, because people still trying to get a handle on this thing. Even though it's not brand new. It's still changing every year, every month. The rules change, the situations change constantly. So I think the teams that adapt to it are the teams that have the success with it. But I want to continue to talk about players and stuff, but I want to talk about quarterbacks. We all know you can't win nothing without line play. We all know that. You can have the best quarterback in the world, and he can't protect them, you ain't gonna move the ball. But quarterbacks are the focus of fans. And if you got a strong offensive line, nobody cares until your team don't have one. How do y'all feel about the state of quarterback play in the SWAC this year so far?
Huge question mark. Huge. I'm talking about, it ain't too many proven quarterbacks. I mean, that's gonna be the thing. Especially, like, I was looking up. That's gonna be the thing to push certain teams over the top. Like Alcorn, my big bad Braves. We got a battle. I think Tyler Macon came out of the spring with the title. If we had to start a game right now, he would be the starter. But he had some inconsistent play during spring, so we still gonna bring in another quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So is this gonna be how we gonna look at quarterback? I think that's throughout a lot of the conference. I think Grambling, maybe Alabama State, maybe Jackson got their starter. But other than that, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I think that's
Big
it.
question mark.
Everybody else is three out of 12 got a guy who you can consider the starter if you had a game, come up Saturday. That's a bad number. I thought last season was a transition year for quarterbacks, but it seemed like this season is even, I won't say worse, but it's another year and nobody is solidified.
The bad part is even the proven quarterbacks have major question marks.
Yeah.
Like Miles Crawley's about to be on another offensive coordinator, one that comes with a lot of question marks himself in terms of quarterback decisions. And if you guys had to build a quarterback for Dooley's system, it would be almost the exact opposite of what Miles Crawley is as a player.
Yeah.
And so how is that going to work? Are they going to be able to build the offense around him? And because even though, like, I agree, he's the most proven quarterback in the SWAC, but he's going to have the biggest question mark because all his weapons left too.
Yep.
His offensive line transferred out. He lost all his good running backs. His top wide receiver graduated. They lost another one to the portal. And then you look at Jacoby Morgan, who's another guy who has starting experience, has won games in the SWAC. We've only seen him in a handful of games. Like, I don't even know if Jacoby Morgan started 5 games.
Yeah.
Is under 6.
Yeah.
And he got a new OC as well. He gonna have a new play caller.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
A new OC, and half the teams that he faced were terrible.
Yeah.
Last year, because he faced UAPB, Valley, Texas Southern, and Alcorn.
Yeah.
So the only tough game he had was Alcorn at home, and he lost. Now he was banged up in
Yeah,
that game. I'll give him that.
Then he got hurt in that game too, so
Yeah.
he didn't even finish that game.
Yeah, and then you look at Andrew Body, another proven quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new school, and that wide receiving core is going to be brand new as well. You lose Keyshawn Johnson, you lose most of your top running back hit the portal as well. So new pieces on the offensive line. So even with the proven quarterbacks, there's some major question marks surrounding all the quarterback play, and it's got to improve. Like you would figure statistically it would improve, but we said that last year, and I think we all as a consensus would say that many teams weren't happy with their quarterback play last year.
And I think this is going to be a big year.
My hand is up.
I think it's going to be a big year just for coaches. We're going to see who going to be able, we're going to see who can coach this year. Who can be able to get their team together after everybody lost some players, who going to be able to rally their team, get everybody together, get them ready to go for game one. You know what I'm saying? Just throughout the season, this is we're going to see who can coach this year. And if you can't, I think it's going to be one of them years you're going to get, it's going to tell on you.
Oh yeah, I think, and kind of going, with coaches, there's four out of the what is it? Four out of the 6 in the West are new. Yeah. So it's another year of coaching turnover. There hasn't been any consistency across the league, and now everybody who's the other in Manor, who's the next tenured coach. So everybody, I guess Bubba McDowell.
Bubba will be probably Bubba. Yeah,
going into his 3rd year.
So he's been at 3 years. So the coach been at 3 years is the second longest tenured coach in the league. I've been following the SWAC since 1980. I ain't never seen a situation where this many teams have coaches who in their 1st or 2nd year. So I think that's something that we don't know what a lot of these guys are. And so, we all got high expectations, and I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to who can put it all together. Who can put it all together and do work with what they got. You know what I'm saying? Who can, take all the pieces and build a culture the fastest.
Yeah, and I think this season, like G said, I think this season is you're gonna find out who made or what. But I also think that this is gonna be a season where you don't even know what a team is until November, because everybody's still trying to fill holes. Teams with a lot of questions, and you're not really gonna know what anybody is until late in the season. So it's gonna make for a crazy finish.
Yeah.
So I want to do something a little different, man. It's the off season. We all about to start having our predictions and stuff.
Yeah.
It can be anything SWAC football related, but I want to get some hot takes, man. I want to get some situations where we say some things that we have to stand on later in the season. So if y'all got any hot takes, man, let's start them out. I'm gonna start though. I don't think I don't think Dooley and Mickey Joseph are gonna mesh well. I don't know if any other person feel like that's a hot take, but I just don't buy that connection, because I don't think Dooley is gonna be able to not be the guy.
You might not like this one, C. Wills. You might not like this one, C. Will. I ain't got too much faith in Terrence Graves right now. I want to see what he gonna do. I ain't too he got a lot of work to do, and so I think with I don't know how patient the fans gonna be down there with him. So I think he's gonna be in an awkward position right now. I think he's in a real awkward position. So it ain't looking too hot on the bluff for me right now. I can't see it yet.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
So Southern might be my disappointment team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing six wins right now, so I can understand. How about you, Blue?
Man, to stand on it later in the season, that's where you got me, man. Because there's some, like, I feel But with the uncertainty, man, like to stand on is crazy. I think a hot take is I think Bethune's going to make a run into the top 3 of the East. They're going to find that. I think that they're going to surprise, because I was looking at their schedule. Their biggest games are in Daytona, and it's tough to play on the road, across college football in general. I think they're going to catch more than one person slipping it in Daytona. The other one would be, I'll say this. I think the preseason poll, I don't think either favorite for the first time in a while wins either division.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because basing it off of what I know, they're probably there. I don't think they should. They're going to give FAMU the benefit of the doubt, and probably vote them first in the East. I don't think FAMU repeats. And then in the West, it's kind of a toss-up, but I'll say this: they're either going to put PV up there just to reward them for winning 2 out of the last 3, but it seems like Southern is always so high in the preseason poll every year, and I just got a feeling y'all are going to get enough first place votes to be like first or second in the preseason poll. Like last year, I think you guys had more first place votes than FAM, if I'm not mistaken.
I got another one. So
I don't see it though. Oh, go ahead.
I think my Braves haven't won in the hole since like 2006. Ed Ground, we ain't won that ground. I think this year we get off the snide. I think this year we go in there and beat them. I think a lot of time. Yeah, it's been that long. Yeah, I ain't never seen them beat them there in my life. I missed that game, so I ain't never seen us beat them in the hole. Every time we go, I leave mad every single time. I started to feel like I was a jinx. But I think a lot of times, I think a lot of times we go into them games unprepared, unmotivated, and I think with this head coach, they love playing for this guy. So I think the trap games be easier on us now. Not saying we're gonna be great, but I think just these every year we lose these games that we just should not lose. And I think there's something
like Texas Southern last year.
Yeah, like Texas Southern. We lost to Bethune-Cookman a few years ago when they hadn't won a game. They just always losing a game we just should not lose. And I think they love playing for this guy. He motivates these kids so much, and I think that's something he gonna help improve day one.
How about you, Jamie G? You got anything you want to throw out there?
Man, right now I can't even. Ain't no telling, man. I'm gonna just maybe later on, man. I can't right now, man.
Yeah, like I said, I threw this out early so y'all can kind of have something to work with as time go on. But like y'all all saying, man, it's tough right now, man. Usually this time of year you can kind of pinpoint this team or that team. I can't pinpoint nobody.
Yeah,
I really think that whoever wins the SWAC probably gonna have 2 or 3 conference losses. I feel that way. Unless somebody get hot and run the table, I just don't know. It's gonna be tough for everybody.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be, and I want to see what everybody do in these final weeks of recruiting. Not final weeks, but the last month, a couple months. I want to see what they bring in. So, but even that, like I was saying the other day, the porter sometimes can be like a box of chocolate. You never really know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you don't. You can.
That,
The guy that you think is gonna come in and do work don't do anything, and the guy who didn't play where he was at, he can come in and light it up. So you just never know. So I that's why I try not to get too crazy when you get these guys, because you just don't know. I think back some years. I don't know y'all this before some of y'all, but back in 2004, Southern signed this guy. I think it was 2004, might be 2005. Southern signed this guy from Texas, University of Texas, named Victor Ike, and he was like one of the top running backs out of Texas Longhorns. He played behind Ricky Williams and all them dudes back in the day. And he went to Southern and did zero. He got hurt a couple of times, but he didn't do a lot. And I learned my lesson then. Just because a guy come from a big school don't mean he's gonna he gonna show out. You know, we signed a guy from Miles College a few years ago, and he was our best receiver. So you just never know. But
and I think
go
sometimes
ahead.
some of the players can be talented, but I've saw when sometimes they come in thinking I'm this Power 5 guy, I'm gonna come here and dominate. Where they get to practice, it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Then they lose their momentum or their drive to even play. We had a kid in the spring come in, and when we signed him, he talking to me. He like, I'm gonna dominate. Oh yeah, G. Yeah, he offensive lineman. So before the first spring play, he like, yeah, G, yeah, these dude, this just, you know, I'm gonna dominate. This how he talk. I'm like, all right, we gonna see. First day of spring practice, Malachi Bailey. Boop, boop, Malachi. I'm talking about dominated him, whooped him. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then we got a true freshman. He was true freshman last year. Kayvon Henderson. Another one. He got on, you know what I'm saying? He was beating it. So it was a welcome to the SWAC moment for him. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was gonna come in and dominate. And I think a lot of times them kids do that. They think they're gonna come in and just dominate, and sometimes they don't know. The SWAC got some talent, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And that's one thing I talk to guys, you know, and they say, you know, don't, you know, just because you hear SWAC or whatever, you know, don't think that they don't got guys that can play. Guys are hungry down here, you know, guys want to prove a point. There's talent everywhere. So, you know, it's obviously the amount of talent you got is the difference in games, but there's talent everywhere. And if you feel like you can walk on the field because you came from somewhere and you're going to do your thing, that's when you get humbled, you know, so hopefully you can learn from it and grow. Some guys can, some guys can't. But you know, I think every school got guys that's been in that situation.
Yep. A lot of time I've seen them stop going to film study. They ain't watching film no more. They came here thinking they're gonna dominate the conference. Now you come in, you see you just a rotation player. Now you don't love the game like you did when you thought you was gonna come in and dominate. Especially the ones with 1 year left. They like, look, I'm about to hang it up after this, so I'm gonna play, but you know, I ain't watching no film. I'm gonna be late for practice. You know, their drive just gone because the reality hit them.
All right, we got to let's see. I like this comment. I'm gonna throw it out for all y'all, especially for G. Truck Griffin been getting a lot of push this season, man. I see they use him in the backfield a little bit. You think he gonna have an opportunity to be a preseason offensive player of the year? The tight end, that's kind of big though.
I don't think they're gonna, even if I don't think they would give it to him. You know, SWAC that ain't what he gonna do. Somebody asked me the other day who I thought it was, and I'm like, with the SWAC, you never know. Maybe Irv Mulligan. I have no clue how they gonna do these first team preseason or offensive player of the year. I have no clue how they're gonna do. But I just know the SWAC tradition. They're not gonna give it to a tight end. This is not gonna do it.
They won't even give it to a running back.
Yeah, I think
give it to a tight end.
Yeah,
they
ain't gonna do it.
That's a quarterback award. So who? Since we, you know, I'm gonna stick with that offensive player of the year. I'm not gonna ask y'all to name anybody per se, but since it's a quarterback award, especially in the SWAC in the preseason, I guess Miles Crawley, would he be the guy, or would they, you know? Since he's the only guy really who has substantial numbers from last season.
Maybe Body.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. Maybe Body.
It should be Irv. Like if you're really basing it off of like performance of last season, because if Irv doesn't get hurt, he rushes for 1,200 yards most likely.
Yeah.
I think he finished the season as the second or third leading rusher in the conference, and didn't even play the final 5 games of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be.
And I swear the guy had over 500 yards at the contact. You can't get him down.
Yeah, that's who it should be. But you know, the voters, after what they did to Bubba, I just don't trust no SWAC. But I just don't trust him no more. After what they did to that kid, I had to reach out to that kid myself and tell him I'm sorry, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The media rocking with you, but I had to reach out to him myself and apologize to him on the behalf of the SWAC.
Yeah, they did that kid. They did that kid so dirty, man. And it wasn't, you know, I never take anything away from another player, but the guy did everything that you could ask for him. People always said, you know, he was hurt all the time. Well, he was able to play the whole season. He put up tremendous numbers. But the SWAC got so many things that you could fuss about, and I think postseason honors is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, until they change the way that it's voted on, it's going to be the same. Because I mean, there's a lot of FCS conferences that have like media members that vote because the media members watch more games than the SIDs do.
Exactly.
Like, and if you talk to any coach in the SWAC, you only watch the film of the teams you play.
Yeah,
that's it. Like, I just don't understand why it's so hard to figure out that SIDs and coaches probably shouldn't be the ones voting on conference awards. That's just insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And a lot of the
I never
SIDs
understood that.
don't even watch. I had a SID a few years ago. He didn't even watch the games. He literally didn't. He went to assistant coach and asked for what he thought. It's just like, so these SIDs is.
I'm not gonna name any names because I need the SIDs to do my job, man. Love all y'all. This ain't directed at any of y'all, but it is. Like some of them, like let's just be honest, bro. They don't know a single lick of football. I've met them. I've talked to them. Like they don't know. I promise they don't know. Like some of them really do.
Yeah.
Like the top SIDs are great. Josh at FAMU, my guy Harvey who used to be at Alcorn. Like those guys are top notch and watch football. But some of these guys, bro, there's no way they should be voting on anything in regards to what happens on that field
at all. And I totally agree because I feel like a lot of SIDs don't do what they supposed to do in general. So I think when it comes to making selections like that, you get the easy choice, but at the same time they don't make the easy choice because sometimes the easy choice is not a quarterback. It's like I don't know if they look at the quarterback leading the team that had the best record, even though that guy may not have been the best guy at the position. Like last season, a guy like Ladarius Owens had a tremendous season. You can say his team wasn't good, but the guy still put up 150 yards against all the top defenses he played, at least. Ran for like 250 against Southern. It's like, that's a guy that put up them numbers with people knowing he's going to get the ball. That's a player of the year to me. I mean, that's the way I feel.
I mean, we talked about this, I think, on this show after last season. How in the world do you have an FCS All-American that didn't even make SWAC first team all-conference? Mikey Victor was a second team FCS All-American and was second team all-conference in his own conference. And then Ladarius Owens was an FCS All-American. And I guarantee you, I know all the people who put together the All-American list. No one even had a fifth thought about putting Jeremy Musa anywhere near an All-American list. But he's the conference player of the year.
Yeah, that really just that stood out to me so much, because Musa was he was a solid quarterback, but being a solid quarterback doesn't make you player of the year. I know a lot of people wasn't happy with his play. That should not that doesn't equate player of the year. And I would have said that even if it was a quarterback for my team, if the guy's not just taking over the job, then you have to be, you have to be top notch. If you're not top notch and somebody else is, they should win it. But, I think sometimes it's easier to go that route. And I think that's what happened with the SWAC with this. I did have a comment, Blue. I'm gonna ask you, since you more versed around the FCS. Is it common for SIDs to vote for preseason teams, or is that more of a media thing?
SIDs do have a vote. The thing is you have to add media into the equation to like override some of the SIDs. Like the SIDs usually do get a vote though, from my experience. Now some conferences may not allow them, but I would say a majority, the SIDs have some sort of say in that.
Yeah, I think we need to start doing the same. I mean, it's a lot of people out here who watch way more football. I could probably say the four of us watch more football than the 12, well, I ain't gonna say 12, but probably 8 out of 12 SIDs, you know what I'm saying? Like we all watch SWAC football all day, every day. You know what I mean? We all consume a lot of football. I watch so much football during the season. My wife, she always look at me crazy because it's like Sunday and I'm watching, Texas Southern Valley play. You know, like I'm pulling up a game on YouTube. You know, it's like we just came from a game. Why are you watching another game? Like, I just want to see what happened. But let's keep talking about the upcoming season. Do y'all got any games that y'all looking forward to? I was talking with my boy Big Soldier. You got any games you looking forward to this season?
Alabama State, FAMU for one. Labor Day Classic. Jack State, Bama State. Any game Bethune's in now. And I'm gonna pay a good attention on anybody that Alabama A&M plays, because he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Can I ask you why you're looking forward to this to that Texas Southern PV game? Because that game is going to be a bloodbath. Like we just Texas Southern is going to be atrocious next year. I don't know about that one.
I always mess with my Texas fam because I always roll with Prairie View because of the street.
I would too.
Southern hadn't beat the street yet, so.
What's going to be 9 this year?
The way it's looking.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
I want to see that the first one at OBC. I want to see what Alabama State look like at NCCU. I mean, NCCU got them a quarterback.
Yeah, that's a.
So that's gonna open it up. I want to see what they look like. They starting off right with it. Body got a lot of height, as he should, and so we're gonna see day one what they looking like. And that's one of them. I'm really excited for, just the first one. And I want to see Jackson State and ULM.
Ooh, on Thursday.
Thursday night game.
Yeah, 3 Thursday games too. Three Thursday FBS games open up the season, so you got a lot of opportunity to see some SWAC football on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be busy that
night. Blue, we got a comment for you.
Oh, well, TSU's going to be bad because they lost their best defensive player just, 2 weeks ago? It's going to Baylor now. Secondary, I don't know. I don't think that looks very bright right now. Lost your best linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And I think one's coming back who's pretty good, but he can't do it all by himself. Offensive line's not going to be good. I don't believe in Jace. You lost both of your top running backs, and your wide receiving core is not going to be good.
And I think with Texas Southern, man, their offensive line coach they had, he was really good. I like Ramirez is his name. He was he played in the league. He was the center for Peyton Manning, and I think there was a huge loss that people don't see. Texas Southern wasn't too talented up front, but their offensive line was always together. They had a decent offensive line, so I think that's gonna be a loss for him too. If he was still there, kind of could bring everybody together. Having so much turnover, but it's a new offensive line coach too. That's gonna be tough. They just brought in another quarterback, a big kid, 6'4", 6'5" kid. I think it's gonna maybe Jace out. So it might be a bright spot for him. But other than that, I don't see too much.
Yeah, the thing I'm worried about with Texas Southern too is, like, yes, Jace is coming back, but man, I think he's gonna have a much less talent. The talent around him is going to be terrible, in my opinion. I don't think they've recruited well. I just looking at their schedule, man, I don't see many wins on there, and that's the thing. And then also too, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think my internet is acting up. I don't know if y'all is going in and out, but I just dropped out. So, like I said before, I think it's that Baker internet. AT&T been digging holes and putting in new wires, man. It's kind of rough. So I apologize to anybody if anything is choppy, but y'all continue.
It just switched you. The internet just put me in the host chair.
The game I'm looking forward to, though, I think it's another week 1 game. South Carolina State going to FAMU.
Yeah.
Chinnis Berry's first game listen, I think that game is going to define what this new era of FAMU football is. Because if that home winning streak ends real early in Bragg, week 1 against a new head coach in South Carolina State, who, by the way, is the last team to beat Family Bragg in 2018, man, it's already going to be hot in Tallahassee. week 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The Heat's going to be insane if they lose that first game. And I think Chinnis Berry, we all know, is going to come looking to make a statement.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, if South Carolina State finds a way to win that game, the MEAC needs to be taking notes immediately because there's no growing period with that South Carolina State team. They are coming for the MEAC title quickly. And I think another one mid-season, I think we both all agree here, the Alabama State games, hosting FAMU and hosting Jackson, they've been about a game or two away from really competing. And the question mark's been quarterback, and you finally don't have that, crutch to stand on. You went and got Andrew Body. You're selling out. It's time to go win a title with everyone coming to your house. You have to win those 2 games. I think that's a must for E-Rock, because if you don't win it this year, he's kind of in the same chair I was with Willie last year. FAMU's on the downturn. Jackson's got question marks. If you don't win it this year, when are you going to win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Especially with having both of them at home like that.
Yep.
You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta come through. That's gonna be huge for them having both of them at home. I know that they're gonna be rocking in Montgomery. I said I was gonna try to get down there. So yes, he got to do it this year. He ain't got no excuse. So I want to see what his defense looks like though. But
yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting for Bama State because I think going from the 100 to the 100, even though you ain't really, so most teams become the 100 when they win a championship, but they're gonna be a team coming with a lot of hype into the season. So I think a lot of teams gonna be coming at them. So I want to see how they handle that. And like you said, playing them 2 games at home is gonna be tough. If they can win both of them, they should win the East. If they drop one and win the other one, it might be, it still be a good shot. But if they lose them both, then that puts a lot of pressure on Coach E-Rob. So I want to see how that goes. A game I'm looking forward to is a game I really wish I could go, but I think I got prior engagement that Saturday, and that's FAMU and JSU. I would love to be at that game, but I think we got a game going on that weekend too. I can't remember who we playing, but I think we got a game that weekend too.
It might be some fighting in the stands of that game.
Yes, indeed.
Them 2 fan bases, my God, they don't stop. If you ever on Twitter, Jackson State and FAMU fans, oh my God, they just don't stop. And see, I'm a trash talker. This is what I do best. Anytime they get on my nerves, it's bad. They get on my nerves, it's bad. They get on my nerves. So yeah.
I just hate that it always boils down to can you top this, even if it don't got nothing to do with the other one. It's like you could say somebody from JSU could say the sky is blue, and somebody from FAMU could be like, oh, I don't know about that, and then then it's got to go into 30 different topics, and then you got somebody from PV chiming in because they they want to get their respect. It's just I try to stay out of it, but I am looking forward to our homecoming game. Last time we played Alcorn for homecoming, it did not go good, but it led to some good things afterwards. So hopefully we don't have the same thing, because I remember that game we lost 20-3. We had like 150 yards of offense. I had to park at the Blue Store and walk to the stadium because it was just ridiculous, and they locked the gates on us. So that was just a bad homecoming. But I would love to beat Alcorn for homecoming. I like to beat Alcorn anyway. Since we finally winning against them, except for last season. I don't want to get into that game.
It's big to me because I won't be Fred. It's personal.
Oh yeah, you got that. You got that too.
It's I wasn't a fan of how everything played out. I try to not talk about it too much, but I wasn't a fan of how everything played out behind the scenes. So I want him bad because it was some noise from his camp, like things was gonna fall off once he left. So that one a little personal. So it been a little noise behind the scene, like he was the reason for the season, not the A. So I got something to say.
I'm looking forward to everything you do that week, bro. I'm watching everything you do that week.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be in the Southern Homecoming Parade with an Alcorn float.
If y'all ain't never been to a Southern Homecoming Parade, then y'all don't understand how big that is.
And I tell people this all the time. Southern, if you never been to a Southern Homecoming, that's the best homecoming parade. That's the best parade. I done been to Mardi Gras parades. I done been to the LSU championship parades. Ain't nothing like a Southern Homecoming Parade. I love it. And this year is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be on the float, acting how I act.
I might have to wake up early and get that because I ain't been to one in a minute because they always start so early and I don't be,
Yeah.
But I might have to get up. I might have to get up and get out of there because, one thing about Southern and Alcorn, it's so much connections, man. Like I got mad family from Woodville.
Yeah.
I got aunts and uncles that went to Alcorn. I got, people just close to me. So it's like my uncle always coming to the house when Alcorn beat us. Like one year he was driving home and he was like, "Man, my truck kept turning towards your house. I had to stop. I didn't want to stop at your house, but my truck just kept making them turns on over to your house, man." It's like, bro, you could have kept driving.
And it is close proximity too. Alcorn is the closest school to Southern. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's
and we got a lot of Alcornites in Baton Rouge. We just I just helped charter the Alcorn alumni chapter that we just got started back up. So we got a lot of Alcornites in Baton Rouge, and like you said, it's like a family. It's like a real family environment. It's different than a lot of these rivalries because this Alcorn and Southern are always fun. It's always fun. You ain't gonna see too much crazy stuff going on. It's real fun. It's real fun. So I'm ready for that one.
It's just the result don't always turn out our way, but losing Alcorn is not like losing to Jackson State. Losing to JSU, bro, it hurts, bro. I mean, it hurt to lose to Alcorn because when you lose to Alcorn 4 times in 2 years, it hurts. But I like it, man. It's a rivalry I like because I remember, and I think it was 19 or 18, whichever year it was, either Southern or Grambling went to the championship game. If whoever won had a dude sitting in front of me, Alcorn from head to toe, and Southern was winning in the first half, and he was cheering because he wanted to play Southern. Then Grambling came back, he started cheering because he wanted to play Grambling. Then Southern took the lead again. Like, all right, I don't care which one of y'all we play. I just want to beat one of y'all.
I did the exact. I was at that game. I did the exact same thing. I was sitting in the middle of some Southern people and some Grambling people. When Southern would go up, I used to go. I'll go by the Grambling people and start. Yeah, we up. When Grambling go back up, I go by the Southern people. You know what I'm saying? And then after the game, I had my flag. So I'm at the Superdome, and if you ever been to the Superdome, the ramp that you come down. I'm standing on the top of the ramp with my Alcorn flag saying, Southern fans walking out the stands, they walking out of the game and they excited. Like, yeah, we going to the championship. I'm holding the flag up saying, I don't know why y'all so excited. I don't know why y'all so excited. So they was mad, So yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, that was like a great atmosphere, man. To be in a situation to know that a championship game is not that far away from you to travel to, buying tickets before the game and hoping your team win. Because I wanted to buy tickets for that game before the game. My wife was like, "Well, what did we lose?" I'm like, "Bro, don't say that. Let's deal with that afterwards. I can sell them, let's deal with it afterwards." But I had a comment that came up before since we kind of got going. But I want you guys. We'll start with Jamie G. They want you to give your first your SWAC championship participants early without naming your own team. So, ooh. I mean, it's easy for me because I wasn't gonna put my team in there.
He says Southern ain't gonna be there regardless.
Right now, I'm gonna say Bama State, Alcorn.
Oh, it was tight for me, Bama State or FAMU, but I'm gonna go. It's tight for Jackson too, but I'm gonna go Bama State and PV. I'm gonna go Bama State PV.
How about you, Blue?
I'm gonna include myself in the Alcorn fan base because I always root for my guy, Coach Fred. So I was always picking Alcorn in the West, man. I'll go Bama State PV in that case.
I kind of feel the same, man. If I had to pick somebody, I pick Bama. I pick Prairie View because I think they get it by default right now, and I don't want to hop on that Bama State train right now, but I'm starting to be drawn that way, So I'm gonna ride with the Hornets and the Panthers. They tend to have some interesting games when they play. I do think it's gonna be in Montgomery and not Prairie View. I don't care what nobody from PV say. Y'all not hosting the championship, no matter what. So it's gonna be in the Gump. But I think that could make for a good matchup. Who do y'all think gonna have the most non-conference wins as a team.
Like in the whole
FCS, no D2, no.
I was about to say because that's kind of biased because like Alabama State plays 2 D2s.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
So I mean, we got to think like who's excluded because Jackson doesn't play any out of FCS out of conference games. They play UL Monroe and Lane, and then they got 2 conference games as out of. I'm not counting that as out of conference wins. I don't care what they say. Alcorn plays McNeese. I think that's their only one.
Mm-hmm.
The Texas schools got the advantage because they play multiple FCS out of conference games.
Yeah, and I don't know. I do like Alcorn against McNeese. I think twice beat them already. I would love for us to beat McNeese. I mean, we haven't done it yet. Been close twice. And Nicholls State, I hate Nicholls State more than any team in the SWAC. I hate Nicholls State more than I hate Jackson. I hate them more than I hate Grambling. I hate them more than I hate anybody else. So for me, we need to win that game, because I have a lot of bad memories from Nicholls State, man. Growing up, going to that stadium and watching them wet the field down on our side of the stadium, and opening up one gate and letting everybody in through one gate like 20 minutes before game time. It's just a lot of bad blood down, and they ruined our season in '93. They didn't ruin it, but they stopped the undefeated season after we beat Alcorn that year in '93. It's just a lot of bad blood for me. But I don't know, man. I guess if PV show up, they probably got the best chance since they do play more of those teams. But I can't get past last season, man. That Houston Baptist game, Houston Christian, whatever they are now. That 30-0, where they had more penalty yards than offensive yards.
Yeah. I'm with you. I want to see. I don't like Nicholls either. I want to see Southern beat Nicholls. And I never go for Southern. I don't even fake all the time. Like, Southern, it'd be hard for me. But Nicholls, I gotta. I want to see them beat Nicholls. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I want to see them beat Nicholls so bad. I want to see them beat Nicholls. And I hope they beat McNeese too, though.
Yeah, we need to beat. I mean, if Alcorn can do it, bro, why we can't do it? It's like
y'all get McNeese at home. Is the game at home?
No, we gotta go Lake Charles.
Okay. Oh, go to Lake. Ooh,
I hate that city, man. I know I'm hating a lot of stuff right now, but I can't stand Lake Charles. If you from Lake Charles, anybody out there, man, no disrespect, but Lake Charles and Shreveport are 2 cities in Louisiana I just can't stand. But I will be there, and I hope we can pull out a victory. But
maybe Bama State has a chance because they beat Central and Sanford. They give them 2.
Yeah. I think they probably got a good chance if they play well against Central. Then I think they got a really good chance of taking both of them games. So Blue, we got a comment for you. Do you think JSU got a chance against ULM?
Do I want them to have a chance? Yes. Am I picking them again? No, because I made the mistake of picking them last time and they let me down. And I just it's just got to the point. It was the same thing with like the McNeese thing. Until someone beats a group of 5 school, I'm not going out on the limb and picking them. Yeah. It's like 1985. Is that my dad was still in high school? That's the year my dad graduated high school.
My sister graduated in 85.
That they should have a chance. So, on paper, they're ULM is not this dominant team, and Jackson should be able to compete. It's just every time some of these teams get on the field with a group of 5 school, they just forget how to play football to a point. I'm sorry, Southern Miss was not 50 points better than Alcorn last year.
Come on.
And Alcorn went out there and looked like they just forgot how to play football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of Southern Troy in 2021. I had the bright idea that Southern had a good chance in that game. I got cursed out by somebody because I said that. And then Southern went out there and lost 55-3. Did not look like they could not stop Will Rouse. I mean, bro, that year they wasn't. I don't think that year they wasn't. but we couldn't stop wheel routes on third down for nothing, and offense couldn't move the ball. I think Skelton hurt his knee or something in that game, and we just got we just got blown out. But I like Blue say, I feel like again, I really feel like in non-conference games in general, I feel like a lot of our teams just freeze up, man. I think the coaches freeze up. I think the other teams, depending on if it's a regional team, like in-state Louisiana teams, I feel like they get so excited to play against Southern, especially a lot of the players, because some of them wanted to go to Southern or Grambling, and they didn't get recruited, or they got passed over, and they want to make a point. And a lot of time they do. It just I feel like we play from behind, and whether it's coaching or schemes or talent, it just don't mesh. And then we come back and we beat up on each other. So I think that's got to change.
I think, like you said, I think some of it is coaching too. Sometimes, we come in and just blatantly get out coached.
You got to start winning some of these guys. Like, especially like, I'm sorry, McNeese does not have more talent than anyone in the SWAC. Like the fact that Alcorn's the only SWAC team to ever beat McNeese is just the most insane stat ever. And up until 2 years ago, they were like 14-0.
Yeah.
In SWAC games. And then Nichols has a history of winning against the SWAC in like North Alabama, who's a D2 team, and like all these teams that don't have more talent. Like, I get the group of 5 thing. It's hard to pull upsets. It is. And there's other FCS conferences that do a terrible job at competing. Like, unless you're in the Big Sky or the Valley or even the top of the CAA, historically, you're not winning those games. But at the same time, like, you at least got to find a way to make them competitive, though. Like, that's the big thing. Is like, I can handle a close loss to ULM like Jackson had 2 years ago. I can handle Alcorn competing for 60 minutes with South Alabama. The bad looks are getting just beat 55-3 and 48-0. It's like, man, we like the talent at the FCS level, especially in the SWAC, is way too high to be getting beat 55-0 by an average G5 team.
Exactly. I feel, and I always harp on this game, and I hate it because I feel like I'm kind of sour. But in 21, when we played McNeese, man for man, I felt like our guys were bigger and better. I'm not one of the people that look at a team and be like, man, our guys, to get off the bus guys. Like, I'm not one of the people be like, man, our guys just look like players when they walk in the stadium. But I looked at that McNeese team, and I looked at Southern, and I felt like our team was better. They ran back to open the kickoff for a touchdown, and we shut them down for 3 quarters until they blocked the punt, and our whole team fell apart. But it's always like one play turns the game, and you can't get back into it. And that's fine if you're playing like a top level team in that conference, but to lose to a team like that, like when we used to lose to Nichols, and they would finish 1-10, and we would be their only one. Then they would lose 8 games till they play us the next season and beat us. That just can't. That can't happen. And we win in SWAC championships in that time period. That can't happen.
Yeah. One year, McNeese beat Southern and Alcorn and was going around saying they was the SWAC champs because Alcorn and Southern played the champs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they carry, they carry themselves that way because they do measure themselves by a lot of our teams, and a lot of times we the only teams that'll bring fans to their stadiums, so they look forward to you coming to town. We used to sell out Northwestern Stadium all the time, and then they wouldn't have another sellout till we come a couple years later. But I want to first off, I want to thank y'all, man, for being here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe if you haven't. Like the video for sure. I want to cover one more thing before we get out of here, man, because I know y'all busy and I'm busy, whatever. But let's talk a little bit about the NFL draft, man. How y'all are y'all surprised that nobody got drafted? Are you not surprised? What do y'all think can be done, or can anything be done about to kind of improve that situation?
I wasn't surprised. I don't think. Me personally, I didn't see any, I didn't see any prospects to where I was like, man, it's a shame he didn't get drafted. You know what I'm saying? I thought we had some talent, but it wasn't just blown away talent. So I wasn't too surprised. I think we got I think we got to do a better job of scheduling. And just keep at it. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't just a SWAC or HBCUs, it's FCS altogether. So I think we just got to do a better job of scheduling and putting our players out there.
Yeah, I don't think it was, and I think everyone did an okay job, like not freaking out completely. Now there were obviously some people who overreacted, and they're going to be the people who overreact to everything that happens. But like, am I surprised Mikey Victor and Sundiata Anderson didn't have someone take a flyer late? A little bit, but I always try. I just think as media, we got to do a better job of setting the expectations, not just for our prospects at this level, but also how hard it is to really get drafted. There are 257 picks and like a million players. And then also on top of that, too, after the 4th, 5th round, it is just a crapshoot of agent relationships and guys, who might have been negotiating a UDFA, not agreeing, and a team can't, lose him in UDFA. So they waste a pick on him. Because I mean, I know players in the FCS, and even there were some HBC players where a team said they would draft them. They agreed on a UDFA deal, so they didn't waste a pick on them because the deal was already in place for after the draft, and they wanted to choose where they went and things like that. So I just think we got to have honest conversations. I'm not surprised though, and I don't think there's a true, like, me and Coach did like a 2-hour show yesterday. There's not just like one solution where if we play more FBS schools or Power 5 schools, like, is that going to help us? Maybe a little bit. It might help some prospects, but it's not going to help everybody. It's not just a one, solution thing. Do we need better players? Yeah, probably. Do our coaches and programs need to do a better job developing players? Yeah, probably. Do our players need to do more when they're given the opportunities? Yes, because you can't go to the all-star game like Willie Drew out of Virginia State and suck, because your draft stock is going to tank. And that guy went from day 2 to being undrafted. And then on top of that too, I think FCS coaches, and it's due to not just funding, but also just opportunities on the recruiting trail. They'll take a shot on a kid who's super undersized. They'll play a 5'11", guy at the edge because he's so fast, and he'll rack up sacks. We shouldn't be surprised when he's not drafted as an edge rusher. Is super undersized and goes out and runs a 4.7 in the 40s. So I just think people got to, set their expectations more. Because I mean, there were a lot of people who were like, "Why wasn't this guy drafted?" There were A&M fans banging the table for a wide receiver who measured in at 5'5" at the HBCU Legacy Bowl.
Come on,
was going to get picked at wide receiver, and he didn't run a 4.4. What are we doing?
And I think we can do a better.
You better run a 4.2.
Like you said, I think we do a better job just putting players in positions. Let them get some tape at some position. I mean, some tape on them at positions you can see them in the NFL. Like, one thing I like what our coach did this year in the spring, we played Malachi Bailey more like outside stand up, like an outside linebacker. Put him in some space. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put him in some spaces. Let him move in spaces. Just having his hand in the ground all the time, because he's gonna be undersized defense end trying to go to the next level. So we're gonna put him in some space and see, how he works space. Let him get some tape of him in space on the outside, playing in space. And I think that'll help, coaches putting players in position. Let them do other things that fit their play style.
Now I'm gonna say I didn't necessarily have a high number of guys I thought would get drafted. When we talked about this before the draft, I couldn't really name a lot of guys, but I feel like the best chance got hurt. The best chance for an SBC player got hurt in the first quarter of Legacy Bowl. Like, I felt like that injury to Davius Richard. Now, I don't know if he would have got drafted or not, but I felt like he was probably one of the guys who could have. I felt like that took a lot of steam out of a lot of guys, and that's another thing, I want to, I hope we can figure out is, like, are guys still going to come to games like that? I mean, you can get hurt anytime, but do y'all think an injury like that is going to affect guys coming to All-Star game?
I don't think it's going to affect it. It may affect some play calling, but I don't think it's going to affect it. Another thing, I think we got to do a better job at the combine. If, like, the HBCU just coming in, like, practicing these drills, sometimes they come in out of shape. You got receivers running 4.8s. Some of them don't know the technique. And so now you got scouts like, I just left that combine and I seen that this y'all best players in the conference, and you got a full of 5-6 receivers that's running 4.8s. You know what I'm saying? So the good the players that do have good numbers is like, this what you going against? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think that hurts us as well. We got to do a better job. And some kids I know, like, they just start training late. You can't wait till 2 weeks before the combine and then start these drills, because they're specific drills. You know what I'm saying? Get in there and really dig deep and train on some of these drills. So when you get there, your numbers look better, and that helps us out as a whole. You know, if you go to a combine and we got 10 or 12 players that has some good numbers, that looks much better than 1 or 2 players at this whole combine that had good numbers, because it makes your conference look bad.
Yeah, I don't think Davis's injury is going to impact the players who were already going to the Legacy Bowl. And what I mean by that is the elite prospects weren't going anyway. Like Davis was the first legit NFL prospect that we had to attend that game. Like think about the first 2 years, all the top prospects were at the Shrine Bowl, we're at the Hula Bowl, we're at the Senior Bowl. Like the prospects like a Mark Evans and those type of guys, and Isaiah Land and Aubrey Miller, they're not going to play in the Legacy Bowl because, and this is no offense to the Legacy Bowl, if you get an invite to the East West Shrine or Senior Bowl, you have to take that.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, like you cannot say no to those type of bowl games and go to the HBCU Legacy Bowl. You're pretty much saying you don't want to be drafted. And the other thing is the top HBCU prospects aren't at the HBCU combine. Those guys are going to the NFL combine.
Yeah.
Or they're holding out to wait till their pro days. So I don't think Davis's injury is going to have long-term impacts. I will say, though, for those borderline guys like a Jarvion Howard or prospects like that, they might go practice, but they're not going to go play in the game anymore. Just like Jarvion did. He went and bought out in the combine, showed out in that first practice, and he said, I'm hopping on a plane. I ain't risking it anymore. I show what I need to do. And that's smart.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see what Doug Williams and those guys do about that, because I heard they're not a fan of that, and they might stop inviting players who want to do that. But then we'll have to have a real conversation about the future of the Legacy Bowl if you try to force players into playing, because a lot of those guys aren't coming at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you force, you try to force guys, you really gonna cut down your numbers, because you can't, if you trying to hold a combine spot at a game over somebody's head, the guys just opt to not do it, and just if they have to, just wait till they pro day. So
Yeah.
I think that's like you said, I think that's a question that they gotta address. I do feel like having those top guys come is rare as it is. And having that guy, who was the top quarterback in HBCU football at the time in that game, injury or not, I thought that was a good opportunity. I didn't necessarily think it was promoted the best, because I know a lot of people didn't even know. But that's a whole nother topic, whole nother day. But man, like I say, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it here, man. I thank y'all, man, for joining me today, man. We're gonna have to do this again, closer to the season. Y'all make sure y'all keep coming up with some of them hot takes. Now I'm gonna keep pushing y'all,
Yeah,
man. I want y'all to.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna have a few of them. I'm gonna have me a few of them. So.
Oh yeah. So like I say, man, I thank y'all for tuning in, man. And I thank y'all for joining me. We got a long period of hype between now and media day. So y'all keep it here. I'm gonna attempt to come up with a order of finish. I've been putting it off. I've been trying to come up with it, but it drives my brain crazy. So I think I'm gonna try to figure out something. I might just list everybody as one until the season starts, because I don't really know who to put in any spot. But man, y'all make sure y'all subscribe while y'all here. Hit that like button, please. And y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and plug y'all platforms. Blue, you wanna plug anything that you got going on?
Yeah, man, you can find us on the Blue Buzz, man. Me and Coach do our thing every week, and have a bunch of coaches, players, guests throughout the all season, man. I'm with you. Looking forward to media day and social media handles right there. And you can check out the website, si.com/college/FCS, man. I just appreciate y'all having me, man.
Oh, anytime, man. You know how it go. How about you, Mr. GSPN?
Same here, bro. Appreciate you for having me, bro. You can find me Swacking the Food on all platforms. Swacking the Food. I don't really have a set time. I might just pop up on the Tuesdays and just go live, talking. So Swacking the Food, YouTube, me and my guys, and then we got it all going on the show too. So tap in with us, and I appreciate you, bro. Whenever you need me, bro, you got to come on ours too. Got to get
hey, just
you
holler at me. I'm down, man. I'm gonna bring the big soldier with me, so you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna bring him with me, because I want to turn him loose on somebody, man. He be trying to be low key over there. I'm gonna turn him loose on somebody. This season, I'm gonna turn him loose, y'all. Y'all watch it. I'm gonna put him in his zone. He gonna make it happen. So, man, like I said, for us, we got another episode, our usual episode of SWAC Smoke coming on Thursday. I wanted to make this a SWAC Smoke episode so we can kind of continue to do what we do. But we'll be back on Thursday with our live show at 6, and we keep on going from there. So, with that being said, man, on behalf of everybody here, man, thank y'all for tuning in, and we will catch y'all when we see y'all around, man. So y'all have a good evening, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound.